She is also the journalist who broke the story on the whistleblower alongside with Ralph Blumenthal. Thank you so much for being with me tonight, Leslie. You know, I was thinking about this today. It was 1 month ago I met up with you in New York. The story had just come out. It was all very, very fresh. We didn't really know where things were going to go from there. And here we are a month later, and a lot has happened.
A lot has happened, as you pointed out in your introduction. And I have to say that I have to take my hat off to you, Brian, and your team at NewsNation for all the coverage that you've given this. That's really been incredible, because not a lot of other television networks are doing what you're doing. So, yes, I mean, we have seen, as you mentioned, Marco Rubio in particular has come out with some very strong statements in support of David Grusch and actually mentioned him by name. Talked about the fact that the Congress has heard from other whistleblowers even before Grusch came forward. And this was a really important statement, which you brought to the airwaves, because that was the first time that a member of the Senate had actually mentioned, as I said, referenced Grusch by name, and also acknowledged the fact that other whistleblowers have spoken to the Congress, which many of us knew already, but it had not been stated by a member of Congress. So that was really important. And the important feature of that, too, is the fact that those whistleblowers have firsthand knowledge of these crash retrievals, which David Grusch didn't have. And a lot of people have been saying we need firsthand information. Well, those people have gone forward to Congress. They just haven't been public yet about it. So that could happen down the road. We don't know where this is going to go. But the fact that we know there are other whistleblowers that have spoken to Congress that have firsthand knowledge of these craft means a great deal.
Yeah, that was really something that came out of that Marco Rubio interview. I remember in your debrief article, you had other sources confirming some of what Grusch said. Do you think that there's going to be other whistleblowers coming forward? Do you have any sort of, knowledge of that, anything happening behind the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, I do think there will be, and there already have been, as I just said, there already have been other whistleblowers. But the question is, will they go public? And that remains to be seen. A lot of them, as Rubio pointed out, and as I know from having talked to some of them myself, they're very concerned for their safety. They're concerned about their jobs. There's still a stigma against this. They don't want to lose their clearances. Many of them have been told not to come forward by their places, where they work. I mean, there's a lot of risks involved for different people. Everybody has their own story. So there may be some that will be willing to come out publicly. And I also think if we have a hearing, as some members have talked about, perhaps some of them will be at the hearing and we'll meet them there. We just don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, those hearings are going to be fascinating. Apparently could be at the end of this month, so somewhat soon. What I find interesting is, you broke the story in the New York Times years ago about the government having a secret UFO program, and then they ended up coming out and saying, yes, we do have that. But I'm just still surprised, and I still can't quite wrap my mind around why more mainstream media is not covering the David Grusch whistleblower story. Especially with Marco Rubio coming forward, and there now being official government hearings being planned. And even last night, we did the story with the Harvard scientist who found those items on the ocean floor that they're testing, that he says nothing like that has ever been found before. They've never found metals, or I can't remember exactly what word he used, but anything like it. It's from another world, basically, is what he said. And even that doesn't make big news. And that's a Harvard scientist. I still don't really understand it, Leslie, how this isn't in more newspapers and, on more TV stations.
I mean, it's a great question, Brian. I just want to make sure to mention that the New York Times story was not just my story, but I broke it with Ralph Blumenthal and Helene Cooper, just to get their names out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is interesting to me that the top mainstream media have not come to this story yet. And I think there is still a lot of stigma. They're nervous about it. Some of them are very skeptical about the topic to begin with. And when you're talking about, possible proof that we're not alone, you're talking about crashed objects that are made by a non-human intelligence. That's a pretty extreme statement for anybody to make.
But don't they have the cover now?
Caution.
Don't they have the cover now, though, now that you have Marco Rubio on the record and you have Congress people literally saying on TV, we're planning hearings? I mean, it seems like it would be easy for them now. They don't even have to do any work.
I know. I mean, one thing I have noticed after, working with some of these media over the years is that they don't like to cover things unless they have something exclusive for them, that's new. So if a story is all over the internet that, let's say, Marco Rubio made certain statements and it's been picked up everywhere, they won't necessarily want to repeat it. If it's already there, they will want, if Rubio were to go to them and give them an exclusive statement, they would report it. That's part of it, I think. But I do think, I mean, it is strange. It does seem like there's they're making a point not to cover it.
It's very interesting.
There's been some coverage that's been very skeptical in some of the newspapers. So
it's okay to be skeptical.
Keep a distance.
I mean, I'm skeptical half the time. It's hard for me not to be, but you can cover it in a respectful way and still be skeptical and ask questions.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.